Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about 3 of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Ryan Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Mehaffie will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 3 more January 6 defendants went to trial. All 3 have been found guilty of very serious crimes. Here's the deal. Patrick McCaughey III, Tristan Stevens, and David Mehaffie were each charged with violent crimes at the Capitol, or at least taking part and aiding and abetting in those crimes. I'll provide more details for you guys when I do their sentencing videos, but each of the men, as I said, they were accused of either violently attacking police officers in and around the West Terrace Tunnel or aiding in that attack on the police. And this was all captured on surveillance video and body cam footage. These 3 were part of a larger group of defendants that fractured off because some opted for a stipulated bench trial, but McCaughey, Stevens, and Mehaffie refused to stipulate to any of the allegations against them. Instead, they chose a traditional bench trial, likely due to the fact that Judge Trevor McFadden was overseeing their cases. This is a Trump appointee. He's been overly lenient in the majority of these cases. In fact, he's the only judge to completely acquit one of the January 6 defendants. So in the lead up to the trial, these men probably had a lot of confidence. They probably thought they were going to be exonerated. And actually, in a pretrial statement, McCaughey's attorney called this case a witch hunt. And she said that, quote, Pat certainly made a poor choice or two, but he is far from the criminal the DOJ has portrayed him to be in its press release. And we are confident that will be clear after trial. At the trial, numerous officers testified, including Officer Daniel Hodges. He's the officer who was seen in that infamous video inside the tunnel. He was being crushed between a doorway and a riot shield. He had blood dripping out of his mouth. Well, McCaughey was the man who was seen pressing his full weight against Officer Hodges. At the same time, while that was going on, another member of Trump's mob ripped Hodges' gas mask off. This was all while he was pinned. And then another insurrectionist stole his baton and hit him in the head with it. So Officer Hodges told the judge that he was in a great deal of pain at that time. And then his head continued to hurt for more than a week after the Capitol attack. He also said that while he was being crushed, he knew that maintaining his consciousness was untenable. He knew that, he would probably lose consciousness, then he would become a liability to other officers. And he also testified that when previous protests turned violent, they were, quote, directionless violence more akin to anarchy. However, he said on January 6th, quote, everyone in the crowd who was violent and everyone else in the crowd supporting them were of a mind, a particular objective to make their way inside the Capitol, and they were willing to do anything to achieve that objective. The second defendant in this case, Mehaffie, wasn't actually accused of being personally violent, but he was seen assisting the mob in their violence and directing them. And then, as with McCaughey, Stevens was accused of direct violence. However, these 3 men argued that basically they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. They said that they were stuck between the mob and the officers. So basically, we just couldn't get out. Yeah, well, that was refuted during the trial by one of the defendants himself. So McCaughey conceded when he was on the witness stand that, yeah, I could have left the tunnel at any time. And then he said that he was only using the riot shield for protection and to maintain his position in the tunnel. So you were stuck between the mob and the police, but you wanted to maintain your position. So the bench trial concluded yesterday. Judge McFadden found all 3 of the men guilty of various crimes, almost all of them. McCaughey was found guilty on 9 counts. He was hit with 3 counts of assaulting or resisting officers or aiding and abetting in those crimes, obstructing an official proceeding, civil disorder, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 2 counts of physical violence. And some of the charges actually included a dangerous or deadly weapon add-on, which increases the penalty. Mehaffie was found guilty on 4 counts, which were aiding and abetting in the assault or resistance of officers, civil disorder, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building or on Capitol grounds, and physical violence in a Capitol or on Capitol grounds. Stevens was also found guilty on 9 counts, but they differed a little from McCaughey. It was 4 counts of assaulting or resisting officers or aiding and abetting in those crimes, civil disorder, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 2 counts of physical violence, but no upgrade for a dangerous or deadly weapon. So based on the most serious felony charges against each man, McCaughey faces up to 20 years in prison, and then Mehaffie and Stevens each face up to 8 years. Although, as I've told you guys before, federal sentencing guidelines are always much lower, and then you have to factor in who the judge is. But I would assume even with this judge, they're each going to go to prison for some period of time. Stevens will be sentenced first. That's on January 13th of next year. That's followed by McCaughey on January 26th, and then Mehaffie on January 27th. So as always, I will keep you guys posted if I hear anything in the interim, and then I will definitely be covering their sentencing, and I'll let you know how that goes down. So thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.